Hey Mimis, welcome back to my channel, the Elijah Diaries, and video 3 of my Pride Month series, where we've kind of been analyzing queer films and dissecting the kind of themes hidden within, psychological themes, as well as just like personal anecdotes and how it all ties together, having fun, having a kiki. This week, I was able to rewatch the film I Saw the TV Glow, which follows the story of our main character, Owen, who moves through adolescence and adult life running from what lies within. So I hope you enjoy today's analysis, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more and check out my previous two analyses on Moonlight and Call Me by Your Name. I'll link the playlist in this description below, and then also at the end of this video. So finish this video, get it at the end, or if you're in a chronological vibe, you need to watch from beginning to end. Description below. You got some options. All right, now let's get right into our Kiki. I love you, Mimis. Bye for now.
Make me your girl. If it's something that you need, then baby, come and share my world. Oh, if it's something that you want, come and take a walk with me. Everything that you need, I got it right here, baby.
The most terrifying thing about the film I Saw the TV Glow is that there isn't even really a monster. It's not the Ice Cream Man. It's not the campy twin monsters. It's not even Big Bad Mr. Melancholy. The real horror is watching someone spend an entire lifetime avoiding a truth they already know. To the untrained eye, the film follows Owen, a lonely kid who becomes obsessed with a late night television show called The Pink Opaque. As the years pass, Owen's connection to the show deepens, while reality itself begins to feel more and more distant, artificial, and dreamlike. But I don't really think I Saw the TV Glow is solely interested in asking who Owen is. I think it's asking something much more frightening. What happens when avoidance becomes your routine way of surviving? Throughout the film, every monster, every distorted television signal, every missing year, and every surreal image points back to that same idea. The longer Owen avoids what lies within, the further Owen drifts away from life itself. From the moment Owen discovers the Pink Opaque, the show functions as more than entertainment. It becomes sanctuary, a world where strength, connection, and possibility exist simultaneously, opposed to conflict. When Owen first watches the show with Maddie, there is an immediate sense of recognition. Not because Owen wants to outright beat Isabel, not because Owen necessarily understands what the show means, but because Owen feels something. For children who feel isolated, misunderstood, or fundamentally different, fantasy often becomes a place where impossible feelings can safely exist. I recognized this immediately because my childhood, like Owen's, was full of incredibly isolating circumstances. As the youngest and only boy of three older sisters, I spent much of my life in proximity to femininity, raw emotion, and self discovery. But the societal constructs of gender, race, and even religion already predetermined exactly how the world positioned me and the role which I played in relation to that. However, this external definition had neglected to realize the soul within me, and I found my solitude immersing myself deep in my own imagination. I watched movies obsessively, I wrote stories, sketched beautiful women, I sang, listened to music. Most definitive of all, though, I escaped into video games. When my first aesthetic idol and my eldest sister, Tiara, introduced me to The Sims, everything changed for me. For the first time, I encountered a world where identity felt fluid and possibility felt limitless. The Sims wasn't just a game for me, it was a space where I could exist without the expectations that followed me everywhere else in the real world. I could play any gender, any sexuality, any race, any background without any of the societal restrictions. I was a child at play in a world far beyond my developmental years, but one that gave me peace, joy, and hope that there was good in this life. Like Owen, I wasn't simply consuming media, I was surviving inside of it. But survival and self discovery are not always able to exist simultaneously. And that distinction becomes the central tragedy of Owen's life. One of the most unsettling aspects of I Saw the TV Glow is that very little happens in the physical realm. No monster truly chases Owen, no villain physically traps Owen. The horror comes from something much quieter. Owen's continuous decision to choose safety and acceptability over the grit of personal transformation. Again and again, opportunities appear. Maddie sees and makes space for Owen's internal world. Questions emerge, possibilities surface, yet every time Owen approaches the truth, fear conquers hope. Maddie asks if Owen likes boys or girls, and Owen responds, I think I like TV shows. The line is funny, but also deeply heartbreaking because Owen isn't answering the question. No, this is retreat. This is avoidance at practice and learned self abandonment because the television becomes a shield against self examination. Pink Opaque provides comfort without requiring the pain of change. And for many years, I understood that instinct. One of my earliest memories of recognizing my difference came after I was caught watching queer content on YouTube that at the time fascinated me for reasons I, at that time, did not have the words to explain. A comment made in that moment, don't let him become one of them, followed me for years and honestly became the center of my self definition. It taught me that in the eyes of my loved ones, I was part of the lowest social hierarchy, that certain parts of myself were better hidden than fully realized. Like Owen, I learned to retreat inward, to avoid asking difficult questions, because if you never look inside, you never have to confront what you might find. Maddie understands something that Owen refuses to accept. The longer avoidance continues, the more dangerous it becomes. If Owen's character represents avoidance, then his best friend or closest friend, same difference, Maddie, represents action. Not certainty, not fearlessness, but action. Maddie's terrified throughout the entirety of the film, yet Maddie continually chooses transformation anyway. The famous burial monologue is not about death, but it's about rebirth. Maddie understands that her current life isn't sustainable, that remaining trapped inside a false identity carries its own kind of death. What appears irrational from the outside becomes an act of survival. This is why Maddie's story feels so powerful, because Maddie doesn't escape reality, she escapes denial. Meanwhile, Owen remains trapped within it. By adulthood, the consequences of that choice become impossible to ignore. Throughout the film, time behaves strangely. Years disappear, conversations blur together, life begins to feel distant and unreal. The horror throughout the film isn't the supernatural. The horror is waking up one day and realizing decades have passed and you have not realized your truth. Owen continues existing but never truly lives. The film repeatedly asks how much of a life can be spent performing before that performance becomes prison. That idea resonated with my adolescent self deeply because for years I confused survival with living. I learned how to perform acceptability, how to avoid conflict for the sake of others' comfort and my perceived sense of safety. And, at times people are safer avoiding conflict. How to become whatever version of myself felt that safety in a particular environment, whether that was making myself smaller or making myself the butt of a joke. We so easily react to our environment as adolescent sponges, and it truly affects your self definition. But eventually, survival reaches its limit, and what's bottled up explodes out. Sometimes you're able to find comfort in stuffing it away, and for many years I was. I know that I was somebody who didn't have the ability to articulate my emotions or even have space to emote. And so often I'd blow up or have a big, low vibrational, isolation filled, just depressive week or weeks or summer. But at some point, there comes a time when the question is no longer, can I endure this? Instead, it becomes, do I want to keep disappearing? In the film's final moments, Owen is forced to confront that question directly. I Saw the TV Glow is often regarded as a film about transgender identity. It is, but it also is about avoidance, about repression, about escapism, and about the terrifying possibility that we might spend our entire lives waiting for permission to become ourselves. The tragedy of Owen's character is not that truth is hidden, the truth is presented throughout the entirety of the film. The tragedy is that Owen sees it and looks away every time, again, again, and again. The final message, written in neon chalk, remains one of the most devastating images in the film. There is still time. Not because time is unlimited, but because as long as we're alive, self discovery remains possible. The question is whether we're willing to stop escaping long enough to finally look within. And I think that's why I Saw the TV Glow hit me so hard. Because underneath the neon lights, the television static, the campy monsters, and the surreal imagery, this is ultimately a story about what happens when we spend our entire lives running from ourselves, about the ways we escape, the stories we hide inside, the worlds we disappear into, and the versions of ourselves we create in order to survive. But survival and living aren't always the same thing. Owen spends the entire film waiting, waiting for certainty, waiting for rescue, waiting for someone else to force a transformation that can only ever be chosen. And by the film's end, we're left with one final reminder. There is still time. Time to confront what's been buried, time to stop mistaking avoidance for safety, time to become. So if you haven't heard it, or even if you have, you're beautiful, you're worthy, you're amazing. The feelings inside you aren't false or invalid, they're just misplaced. Sometimes they need to be realized, externalized, even just spoken about in safe space. And Mimi's, you always have a safe space in me and within our Mimi community. But more importantly, you have yourself. Never, ever, ever doubt the power or strength within you because nobody is going to bed with you every night besides you. Nobody's waking up with you besides you. Nobody has to write this story of life for you besides you. Many people may want to, many people may project their ideas about who you should be onto you. But if you, at the end of the day, are not able to lie down and feel confident and feel happy, empowered, and free, which is the point of it all, freedom, right? That's what our ancestors and all this war and bullshit and elections and such have been for us to achieve. Then you are not living. You have to live for yourself. And it is so hard to find the tools to do so when you aren't provided with them in early adolescence. I know that firsthand. But you can learn, you can grow. What you're hearing isn't a mistake. The feelings you have are not a mistake. You are here for a reason. And every message you're being sent, even your presence here, is intentioned. I believe a lot in the universe and that everything happens for a reason. You may lean towards a religion or a certain congregation, and I have religious ties too in ways, but I think that there is a greater meaning to all of this, even if you don't believe in a God or the universe. Your life has a purpose, and for whatever reason, you have to wake up every day. So you should be living for you. Never doubt yourself, never doubt the power within you. And I think that's a message that extends far beyond Owen, but one that so many never hear and so deserve to know. And so, Mimis, I hope that you enjoyed today's Kiki. Make sure to leave a like, to subscribe, and join our little corner of the internet here at the Elijah Diaries. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the film down below because, girl, there's still so much to unpack here. We've only scratched the surface. Um, Eyes on the TV, Glow is such a beautiful film. We love Justice Smith over here. So if you haven't seen it already as well, go check it out. Um, it's a bit unsettling in that it is so real and raw in those ways. And it's a movie, so emotions at times are heightened, but it is real. It is so very real and relatable, and it's a beautiful movie. Um, so yeah, check it out. And if you're craving a little more of me, make sure to check out my previous entries into my Pride Month series. They'll be linked somewhere in the description below, but also appearing somewhere here on the screen eventually. And if you're having, a bad day or a bad year or whatever, know that you will get through it. You can see the other side. Always find and follow your why. If you don't know your why, take time to yourself to find it and listen to it, seek it. These words are on my heart today because I had a very hard morning, but I pushed through and had one of the greatest artistic days I ever had in another realm, but also coming here and showing up for you guys, even after putting so much energy into that. thing. And so I'm showing up for myself. And I love you guys, but at the end of the day, whether you're watching or not, I would have to do this for me. And I say that to say that you always have to find and follow your why. And yeah, as always, Mimi's, I thank you so, so much for spending your time with me and making it this far into the video, especially this long-winded outro. I love you endlessly, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, Mimi's. No twerking today. We're sad girls today. We're emotional girls today, but I love you. Bye for now, Mimi's.